Hello YouTube, this is Firebrand Chris, and today I finally got around to loading some 300 AAC Blackout. Now, I didn't size down enough 123 grain bullets, which I'm still going to make a video for that. So I decided to use some 147 grain bullets. These are pulled Lake City bullets. Traditionally, the bullets they would have used for 7.62x51, you know, for the 240 Bravos and the M14 rifles, etc. They should make good plinkers, and I expect to get 1,500 to 1,600 feet per second on this ammunition. Pretty good. Well, I mean, it's decent out of an AR-15. Maybe I could probably try to hot rod this round, but starting off, it'd be a good plinker. Now, these bullets do attract a magnet, as you can see. So always be careful, you know, just make sure you're allowed to use these bullets at a range, because you know some ranges don't like for to use bullets that attract the magnet, you know. And I got these for extremely cheap using my dealer account through Graff & Sons. So, you know, I got 4 bags of these right now, and I might buy some more. Might use them to make a cheap plinking 7.5x55 round, or even some ammo for my Spanish Mauser once I get that all fixed and worked out. So, what I've done, I've already loaded 5. You know, I had to set the dies. And I have some in the magazine. This is a traditional PMag. As you can see, it says 5.56x45, and they fit pretty good in there. I wasn't able to use the crimp groove, but that's okay. You know, because you're using the factory crimp, it's going to make another crimp groove. So let's load up these other 5. Okay, so in this stage we're going to be lubing the cases. Got our trusty Hornady one-shot case lube. Doing it a bit differently this time since there's only 5 cases. And I'm not too worried about getting lube into the case mouth. I'm using a carbide expander ball on my sizing die. So as long as some of the brass has a little bit of lube on there, then it should cover the rest of the sizing process. Plus, it's a carbide expander. What you don't want is you don't want the case mouth to stretch too much, even though it's using a carbide expander ball. That can happen sometimes. So always lube it through. And plus, it helps it run smoothly. Okay, in this stage, we're going to be sizing the brass. So I'm going to go ahead and install our sizing die, and it's a Redding die, full-length sizing die with a carbide expander ball. Now my shell holder is a RCBS shell holder. I mean, it's 4.556, but if you know anything about 300 black, it's formed from 5.56, so it works just fine. Okay, so now in this stage we're going to be applying our primers. So I have a whole box of CCI number 41 primers. So I'm going to use some of these. Now, I do know that they burn hotter than normal primers, and this particular load has been adjusted. The powder has been adjusted for the difference in those primers as opposed to, say, normal CCI small rifle primers. I think you reduce by 1 grain or something. So we're just going to stick it into our RCBS hand priming tool, and they go right in. Okay, so in this stage we're going to be placing the powder charge. Now the machine has already been calibrated and it's ready to go. As you can see, it's dispensing powder. I'm actually going to show you guys the second scale that I use to double check my rounds. Now, I know this is a crappy pan, and this is actually hopefully the last time I'm going to be using this pan in this video. I did order a new pan from Midway USA. It's got a funnel built into it. Probably only going to show you like 2 of these. It's 13 grains. So, I think you guys pretty much got the point. Alright, in this stage we're going to be seating the bullets. So, I have a Redding competition seater. It's already set to the correct depth. So all we're going to do is install it. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know if I'm able to get something with the seating adjustment tool on it, I'll buy it. And that's okay. So in this stage, we're going to be applying the crimp. That keeps the bullet from sliding back into the case, or in some cases getting stuck somewhere, and the bullet getting stuck in the entrance to the barrel, and then you have powder spilling all over your action. So I have a Lee factory crimp die, and it's already set up to provide the optimum crimp. So even though we weren't able to use the crimp groove on the bullet, the factory crimp, it puts a pretty good crimp in it, to where you won't even need to use it. And some bullets don't always have that, so you do not want your bullets sliding, moving, or coming off. after they've been chambered. And that's the 5th one. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna load some more up. At least try to load a decent amount. Load up a decent amount to take to the range. And we're gonna move on to the review stage, and that way I can, talk about the product that I just made. Okay, here we have our finished product. What I'm gonna do in order to save time explaining certain things, data about the powder charge and the cartridge overall length, I'll put that in the description of the video. But I do have one thing I want to discuss about the overall length for this particular load. Even though I had a certain overall length set that I wanted to achieve, these pulled bullets, the length of them, haven't exactly figured it out yet. But when I seat them, well, some of the bullets are longer than others, so it kind of alters the cartridge overall length by a small bit. So when I put it in the description, I'll put what I expected the cartridge overall length to be and the range where it actually fluctuates. I don't know if that makes any sense. I got a few other cartridges that I've loaded where that happens, and it just depends on the bullet selection. I mean, these bullets are cheap, but they don't appear to be very uniform. You measure some measure 146 grain, some measure 149 grain, and they all have different lengths. So just keep that in mind. I have 5 loaded into this PMag, and as you can clearly see, this PMag says 5.56x45, but because 300 black derives from 5.56, fits in there perfectly. This 30 round magazine, you should get 30 rounds of 300 black in there, which is the benefit. It's a big plus for this particular round. So it's always good to have one of these as well. A case gauge checks the overall length, and this thing is supposedly chambered out in SAMI specs. So if your case fits in there, then it should fit in any gun chamber that's chambered to SAMI specs. So it chambers in this cage gauge relatively well. Shouldn't have any problem chambering into. Aha! Here is our 7. I got a 7.62x39 cartridge for comparison, so it did not fit in our cage gauge. But that's 7.62x39 on top, and this is 300 Blackout, which in its metric name, 7.62x35. This is 123 grain full metal jacket. This is also a hand load as well, and this is what I just loaded up. So look forward to my range video, and I should be making another video pretty soon involving a 123 grain 300 Blackout round. So like always, subscribe and keep watching.